Here's the purse we're making today. And I want to show you a difference in something. On this one, when I connected the purse bottom, I left these little wings out here so the purse does not come out beyond these. It's like that, see? It looks less like a purse and more like, I don't know, doesn't look as purse-like. This one really looks purse-like. The difference is you come right down to where your hand holes begin, right here, and you come out from there. And that's all the difference there is. It's where you sew it on the armhole. One makes it look more like a purse this way. One makes it look like more like a hand warmer with a pouch on it. In fact, I might even go back and undo all this and bring it out. But I wanted to show you the different looks you can get. Also, you can do it this way, where it comes all the way out to the edge, all the way around. Bring it all the way out to the edge, and instead of going straight down, you can decrease down to the center if you like. Now, this particular bag is made in a different type of a pattern. It's made a different way, but it's the same idea. You could take this point here, where the armholes are, and just decrease it down to a point, and then increase it back up for the other side, and connect it over here, sew it to your armholes, and then put a nice top stitch to it. That's another idea. You could also take this one and you could make parts of this here that come up like this and sew into here and come over and become your belt loops with the same material. It'll look kind of like a jumper. I'm going with the idea that hands and belts and stuff like that can get dirty and kind of slow down the amount of time it would have to be washed. I just went for the darkest for everything. It's going to be handled a lot. And I even put a darker band along the edge here where the hands will be slipping in and out. So this is the purse-shaped bag in the series, and let's get started. For this I used a 7-ounce Super Saver of the solid color. And I have like this much left, maybe half of it. So I probably used only about 3.5 ounces of this. This is a 5-ounce, and I definitely don't have much of this left. I'd say I'd used probably 2/3 to 3/4 of this roll. And this is the 5-ounce variegated. I used an H hook, and that makes a difference. The bigger the hook, the less stitches you'll be making, and the less yarn you'll be using. Okay, so to start the purse, hand warmer, we're going to start with a chain of about 32, 34. This will give you average size hands diameter, about 5 to 5.5 inches when you fold it flat. Now you take your two ends, make sure you're flat all the way. Bring your ends around like that. Put your hook in there. And give it a slip stitch. And chain one. And you want to turn over. This chain one is the stitch in the one that you just slip stitched together. That counts as that one. The very next one you want to go in the back hump. Do your single crochet. And you want to do it in the back hump all the way around. just like that. You'll end up with a real nice edge. This is the edge that's going to be showing on your cuffs. Okay, meet you at the back. Okay, I'm back around to the beginning of my first row. Going in the back humps. Now here, if you look at it this way, you can see that this stitch belongs to this stitch. And the very next stitch is the one that we connected with. So it has its own stitch. So what we're going to do is we're going to reach over here, go in both of these stitches, and pull up a loop. Now we're going to chain 2, and this is the inner hand piece. You don't need to do connected half double crochets if you don't want. We're going to half double crochet around, just like that. Now there's your regular half double crochets. And you can see that they make holes. See the holes in there? Okay. Now if this is going to someone that's going to really need it in cold weather, I would suggest connected half double crochets. To do that, you come in here to your beginning chain, you go into your chain itself, pull up a loop, go into your base stitch, pull up a loop, pull through all 3 loops. See that? Now you've got these 1, 2, 3 loops all gathered together. You go in this bottom one, the front of this bottom one here, pull up a loop, go into your base, pull up a loop, pull through all 3, and again, you have 3 loops that you've gathered together. Go into that bottom one, go into your next stitch, pull through. Now half double crochets that are connected don't have those holes. See how solid that is? Don't have the big holes. And this would be better for a very cold weather hand warmer. Okay? So again, go through your base, go through your bottom loop, bring up a loop, go through your base, bring up a loop, go through all 3, through your bottom loop, through your base loop, through all 3. And just keep going like that all the way around, and I'll meet you back at the beginning. Okay, I'm back around to the beginning, and if you put this together, you can see that this stitch here belongs to this post. This stitch here belongs to this post. This stitch is in this stitch, so you've got no place to put another stitch at. That means you come to your end. You come across, you stitch in, loosen a little bit. There we have it. Now, what I want you to do is this. You take your, pull that out a little bit. Take your seam area, and get yourself some little pieces of yarn. 6 or 7 up the side. You don't have to be exact about this. We want a ballpark area that we can increase the bottom of the hand warmer part. We put our outside on. There. Now, between here and the seam and here and the seam, we are going to be making 3 decreases on each side. So 3 decreases, pardon me, increases. 3 increases over here and 3 increases over here. That way your seam will stay on the bottom of your bag, not the top. The top will be flat across, which will give you a nice looking purse. Okay, so this next row is the one where we start our increase. So I'm going to do it on a single crochet. So I'm going to do a single crochet. I'm going to do 2 in this one. That's 1 increase. A single crochet. And 2 in this one. That's 2 increases. And a single crochet. And 2 in this one. And that's my 3 increases for this side, and I'm within my end I wanted to be at. Now just single crochet around. I'll meet you on the other side. Okay, I'm back way around to my marker area. So I'm going to do an increase here. Whoops. Do my 2 singles and 1 single. My second increase, 2 singles and 1 single. And I'm going to do my third increase right here. Now, this is supposed to be where this and this meet. By adding 1 in here, I have actually increased it. And if you count around, I should have 38 stitches. I've gone from 32 to 38, or 34 to 40, depending on how many you started with. This will be the full width of my hand, of the hand part. Now after this, you just chain up 2, go into your chain, go into your next stitch, pull up your loop, and you started your connected half doubles again. Just like that. So you alternate with single, half double, a single, half double, until you get approximately 27 rows. It'll be an odd number because you're going to begin and end on your single crochet. Because we have our single crochet even, our half double even, and we have our single crochet increase row. That's 3. From here on, row 21, row 4 through 24 will all be even, alternating half double and single. Then on the other side, we'll do a single row of decrease, and then the half double and the single. That's pretty easy, isn't it? We have no more increasing all the way down until we get to the other end. So I will see you at the other end. Okay, I've gotten up to the end of my even rows, and I've come to the part where I have to decrease again. Down here at the beginning, we went up 6 from where we started, from our seam line, in each direction, and we increased 3 times in there, which means we had a total of 9 between the center and an equal area of where we increased. So that came down here at the end, and I counted over 9, and I put my swatch here, counted over 9, put my marker here. Between here and here, you decrease 3 times. So I did single crochet, decrease, single crochet, decrease, single crochet, and decrease. And went around, and I've come around to my other marker spot. So I'm going to, let's see, decrease, single crochet, decrease, single crochet. Okay, I'm going to start out with the decrease. I backed up to make sure I would have room for all 3. So there's my first decrease, and a single crochet, and my second decrease, and a single crochet, and my third decrease. That brings you right back to the beginning, and I slip stitch. Get in there. There we go. I'm caught. There we go. Now, this decrease matches this decrease at the beginning. I don't need these anymore. Now remember, this is not a dyed-in-the-wool project. This isn't a pattern that you have to follow. If you want, this is your flat side. If you want a deeper pocket over here, you can increase every single row for 2 or 3 rows, and you'll have a deeper pocket. But just remember that you're going to have to make your purse even deeper than that. If your hand warmer comes down here, you're going to have to make your purse even deeper. So count on that, okay? I just wanted a little bit of a dip, just to give my hands a little place to just kind of settle in, okay? Without bending the purse too far. I've got just the kind of little dip I want. If you don't want it to dip at all, you can do it straight across. This is your project. This means you can do anything you want to with it. Now for the next 2 rows, we work even, so there's no increase or decrease again. That's what I love about doing it this particular way. You have no problem with counting. Once you've got your set, once you're set, you do your 2 rows, increase, work even, 1 row decrease, work even, and you're done. So I'm going to work 1 row of half double crochet even, and I'm going to finish off with 1 row of single crochet. And then the hand part will be done, and we'll be working on the bag. Okay? Now we start the outside. For the outside, I'm using a variegated brown, and you want whatever chain you make to fit your size. Relaxed from the first stitch to the last. You want it to be within the boundaries of your first 2 chains, your first 2 rows. That would be the single and the half double, single and the half double on each end. If you stretch it and it comes beyond that, don't worry. don't worry about it because the pattern is going to draw it in anyway. So just do a simple single crochet across. I particularly at this point am using 28 stitches. I'm going to hold my 28th stitch. I'm going to hold my 28th stitch and I'm going to chain one, and I'm going to come back into the back of that 28th stitch on that hump. And there's my first stitch. It's right over my 28th stitch. Put it right over my 28th stitch, so I know I'll have the full 28. And as you can see, the back has automatically flipped over now. Won't have any trouble finding my humps. So right through there, do a single crochet all the way along the back and meet me at the other end. I do suggest you use the back of the humps because this is the top edge, and even though we can put other things on it, slip stitches and what have you, you don't want gaps in your edge. You want it to look like a good edge. When you go through just one of these, sometimes you'll end up with holes when you go to put your border on. So go ahead and use the back edge, the back humps, and meet me at the other end. I'm at the end of the single crochet. I'm ready to chain up 2, 1, 2, turn your material so that your tail here remains in back of and front of your hook. If you turn it the other way, your tail is going to wrap around your back chain here. You don't want that. You end up with an extra loop. Now, normally on single crochet, you go into this first loop, and on doubles, you go into the second. And then when you come back, you go into the top of your chain. Well, we don't want to go into the top of the chain because it has this extra little knob on it that can really cause problems. So what we're going to do is, first of all, we're going to go into the chain itself, go into the same stitch it came out of on the base, drop all 3, and when we come back, it's this big stitch on top we're going to be going through, and we're not going to touch the top of the chain. Okay? So this post here is our first stitch, not the end. That's stitch 1. Now, we have the 2 here, these 2 loops here, the bottom and the top. The 3 loops drawn together, we pulled our loop through. We went through this one before and just slipped it out the front, remember? Now we're going to go into this one and we're going to flip it back behind the post of the stitch and pull up a loop. I can show you that easier when I get to a little bit better lighting, light colors. You go through the top stitch and then just bend it down. Just stick your hook down. It will come through the back post of that original stitch and bring a loop through. It's like in Tunisian when you are stitching across and you're trying to do a knit stitch. You're going in between the upright post of the stitch. In Tunisian, when you go in between the upright, the front and the back of the upright, you go through the front and out the back. That's what you'll be doing here. So you're going into the post, into the cross stitch, behind the post. It just kind of falls back there very easily. Pull your loop up, go through your base. As soon as you go through here, just let the tip of your hook fall through the back post. It falls right in back of this post here. Bring this stitch through, go through the base, bring your stitch through all three, and it goes very simply, very easily. As soon as you go through there, it falls right through. You don't have to search for it. Go through there and just follow right through the back, like that. See how pretty that is? It's a very nice pattern on it. Nice fancy looking. You don't have enough of a bar to make it look like a knit stitch, but you do get this nice look. And when we come back with a single, it's going to give it an even nicer look. I'll show you what we're doing with that too. Meet you at the end. I'm at the very last stitch. This is a stitch that was right above my 28th chain. So I know it's my last one. Go through my bar, drop through the hole, go through there, through all three, chain one, and turn. Now, the very first one, we're going through both because we want a sturdy end. So on the very first one, on each single crochet row, we will go through the tops of both stitches, both sides of the stitch. At the end of each row. When we increase, it's this next stitch that we will increase on. Pardon me. It is this stitch we will increase on. Now this is our third row. It's our second half double. And this is where we're going to do our first increase on each end. So we're going to go back into that same stitch through both loops and do a single crochet. Now remember, when you come back, this is your first single crochet. This is your second. If you need to, put a little swatch through that so you'll know where your end is. That's a good thing for beginners to do anyway. Let's see here. This is the first stitch. This is the one we'll be ending on. There. Now, no getting lost when we come back. Now we have increased on one end already, because instead of putting one stitch in this very end, like you do with all single crochets, we place two. Now we're going to start our single crochet pattern. Instead of going through both or even just one of these in the usual manner, we're going to come back towards us like this on the top edge. Wrap our yarn, pull it through, make our single crochet. Come back down, wrap our yarn, Pull it back through, just like that. And what this is doing is it's twisting a little bit and it's making a pattern on the other side. I'll show you in a couple stitches here. This dark should look real nice against that white on the other side. Bring it down and towards you. Down and towards you. Okay. And look what's happening on the other side. This is where your stitch is going into the top edge and twisting it and raising it. See, that's making almost like a, we have a, almost a grain pattern going here. Very nice. It looks very plain and very uninteresting with a regular single crochet. I'll show you that. And it takes away from, instead of adding to, the pattern that we just made with the half double crochet. Oops. There you go. Oh. That's a regular half double. I will do several, single. I'll do several single going up the normal way through the front loop. Okay. Now here's our pattern. Coming forward, down towards us in the back. Here's the regular single crochet through both loops. And here's the single crochet going just through the back loops. This way you get this double line here. This way you get a single slanting line. And this way you get this kind of grain pattern stitch going. So it's up to you. If this one's too hard for you, or you want to have just the double lined, if you think that's more attractive, try it that way. I think this is the least attractive, but it'll still work. You have that one line going from our connected pattern. Now I'm going to stick with this one because I like it the best. You go with what you like. You might think that this is the most attractive and want to go with it. I think it looks nice. It's up to you. This is your purse. So I'm going to take this out. I'm going to go back and finish doing it the way I prefer to the end. And I will meet you at the end, and we're going to do an increase on that side too. I'm at the end, and remember I decided to do a stitch right in the bottom of my connected stitch so I wouldn't have to go into the chain at the end. So this last stitch is my last stitch. I'll just come down. See what I did? This is the one in which we are going to do our increase, and we're going to go through both sides. So we're going to go through both sides the regular way. And do a second one. Now we have increased one on each end. Chain 2, and go up. Now again, See, that works out pretty nice. You have no knob on the end. If the way you do it, you get a knob on the end, what you can do is go through here and here at the same time. Let me show you that. You can go through here, bring a piece of your knob over, and then go through your hole, like that. You'll be incorporating your knob into your stitch. And you still end up with a good edge. I've done that a lot because I don't like the little knobs on the end, especially if I'm going to come back and do an edging. Now again, I would like to not have to use the chain part over here. So again, I'm going to go through here. I'm going to use this first one that the chain came out of. And start my double connected, connected stitch up here using the Tunisian knit stitch technique in this top bar. To the top bar, when you flip it back like that, what you're doing is you're going through the front and rear of that bar. And though the stitch is not long enough to allow a knit stitch pattern to show, it still adds a texture and dimension to the stitch that makes it really nice. Now on the pattern rows, the connected half double crochet, we will not increase or decrease. We're going to leave that to our single crochet rows. It makes it easier and it makes it more gradual, and it will look nice. So on this one, go even all the way across, and we'll come back and do another single crochet row with an increase on each end. Now here I am at the end. I had made my little piece into the very end here. You can see that I haven't done this stitch yet. Now without this stitch, you can be in doubt as to whether it's supposed to go in there or not. But this is where your increase was. And this is where we're going to do our last stitch at. Since we're working even without an increase, all we need to do is go into that stitch to both sides like normal, come up, chain one, and turn. And this is coming out because it's following the increase of our single crochet row. See there? We didn't have to increase on this. It just copied this and came out with us. Now this is another increase row. Come here, you. Okay. So we go back into both sides of our bottom stitch, both threads here. We go in again. So we have 2 stitches on the end. And again, until you get used to it, stick our little piece in there. Come on, baby. That's a boy. Lost my second stitch. Okay. Now we start back with the pattern towards us instead of regular, and we'll continue having a beautiful pattern on the other side. There we are. Just like that. I'll meet you at the other end. Okay? Again, I'm at the end of my line. And remember, this is a single crochet row, so this is the row we're going to increase on. This is the top of my last stitch. We use the full stitch instead of that. So we want to go through both sides of that stitch in the normal way. Gives you the strongest possible edge. And I'm going to do it again, and this time I'm going to bring in a piece of that hump edge like I did last time. Whoops. Easier said than done sometimes. I'm bringing in a piece of this hump. And then go back through my hole and finish my second stitch. So you've got pretty even edge here. Draws up the hump. 1, 2, and turn. And see how our pattern is developing? Get almost a raised edge here. Very nice. Very nice. Now this makes 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 rows. We're going to do 10 rows, and we're going to increase on every one of these. We want to increase 5 times. So this is our first increase right here. Our second, we want to increase 3 more times. And we should be at the base of our purse face, and ready to go even. So depending on the pattern that you chose, if you use different patterns, this is what you're looking for. Here's the top of your purse. Oh, I've got to back out, and I've got to tuck my camera and it's going back into focus. There we go. Okay. Now here's my beginning chain. And this is where it's going to be connected across here. Back out a little more, Chris. There we go. Okay. I have it connected probably about there. And our increase is going to keep going down until it comes to the edge here. Now it doesn't have to meet it exactly. It could meet it here. If you want to do it wider like this, it could come down in here and then come out. But you want to get pretty much a slant coming out to the bottom of your handpiece. So if you have a different pattern or you're using half doubles every time, you're going to need to increase on evenly enough. That's why I said do a swatch. You want to do at least a swatch this big. At least 10 to 12 rows long, and at least 12 to 15 across to start with. Then you measure it. And then when you start doing your stitches, you measure it again to see if it is shrunk. Now this one, when I started, and it was relaxed, remember? It came from here to here, relaxed. It shrunk about 2 stitches. but it still has enough easy stretch that I can get it from where I need it to connect here. The tail's giving me trouble. Get out of there. To where I need it to connect over here. So there. I will still need to reinforce this because it will start to sag after a while. So it'll be a reinforced edge. And I run it up about here. Now, if you get down, every once in a while, check it. If you get down and you find that your increase is going too fast, skip another row until you have your increase come down around here. Now, your increase can come out fast if you want. It can come out at an angle here. But when you reach this edge, that's when you have to start going even. And down here, you want to increase one more stitch if you need to. If you're even with the edge, increase one more stitch so that you can have room to seam your bottom without drawing your purse in. So that's a tip. You might decide to do a star pattern or any of the pattern. I'm not even going to start saying the patterns. There's 10 zillion patterns out there. The thing is you want to do it against your handpiece to make sure that your edges are going to come where you want them. Okay? Now I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to increase down here until I think I'll probably be about right here when I finish my increase. That's about where I want to be. If it's lower, I will adapt. And I will see you back. I'm going to increase 5 times. Okay. Now here's what I mean by adjusting what you're doing. I have 1, 2, 3, 4 increases so far. I only have one more to go on the pattern, but if this is coming straight and I go out here, I'm not going to have quite enough to go all the way out to my edge and pass a little. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to change up the pattern a little bit by putting an increase in the half double crochet row. And I'm going to show you how to do that right now in case you need to do it. Also, I'm straighter here than I wanted to be. Next time I make this, I think I will increase maybe on the first single crochet row after the foundation and the first half double crochet and then go from there. I think that'll bring it out a little more. Anyway, this is how you do an increase on a half double crochet row. Now I've chained 2 and turned. I'm going to go into my chain, do my half double crochet in the end like I did before. And then I'm going to repeat the process let me think a minute. I think I will put my increase in the second chain from the hook. So I'm coming second chain from the end. So I'm going to come into this link here and this stitch here, and this is where I'll do my 2 half doubles. I don't want it to fan out sharply on the sides, and I'm afraid with this larger stitch it just might do that. So I'm going to do it one step in like that. So here's my end stitch instead of using the top of the chain, only I do tend to combine the 2 of them. Keeps my bumps there. So that's my basic right there. And I came into the very next stitch and that's where I put my 2 stitches for my increase on this edge. I will do the same thing on this edge. This is my I have all these little pieces of yarn that I stick around. Here's the beginning of my single crochet row so that I know where I'm at. I came up, I came down in the same hole. That makes this the first stitch. I did it again for the increase. So I'm going to come down here to this end. I'm going to increase in this hole and put my final half double in this hole. So it'll look like this. I can show you something without. Okay, now I'm going to do my first stitch in here like this, like normal. Come back and do my second stitch. And then go into my last stitch. And I'm set. And I wanted to tell you, on one pattern side I did, not on this particular stitch, similar, I found myself pulling my edges. My edges were getting pulled in. So in the half double crochet rows, I did a connected double crochet on the end. And I'll show you that right now. I don't need it on this one, but I'm going to show it in case you do. So you go through, get your 2 loops on your hook like normal, go down into your stitch like normal, but instead of coming through all 3, you come through 2 and 2, just like a double crochet. And that gives you your extended end. Okay? Also, if you find that your center is bowing, that this is like bowing out and this is being pulled in, that's your problem. Change to a connected double crochet on the ends and it'll fill it out better. Go back to my half double. Now I have my half double increase on both ends. Everybody has different ways of crocheting, looser, tighter, zillion different patterns. I'm trying to teach you not just this particular pattern, but the concept you can use to use any pattern you want. It doesn't have to be a tight pattern. You could line it. You could line the straight piece before you sew it on. And you could do a pretty shell pattern, a pineapple pattern, anything that you can think of that you think would be pretty. Maybe a nice basket weave pattern would look nice on these. And you're going to need to know how to check your edges so that you can put it out where you need it at. So I'm going to go ahead and finish the do this whole row and do my single crochet with the increase and see where I'm at. And if I'm happy enough with it, I'll just go straight from there. And if not, I'll add one more increase in my next half double crochet. So I'm as curious as you are. Let's see what's going to happen. All right. Now I've got 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 13 rows. The 12th row I increased again, my half double crochet, increased here, increased here, increased here. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 increases. Now my half double crochet comes right out to the end, and I did the last increase in the single crochet to come out to the side. Here's the end of my half double crochet. Here's my single crochet. On top, it looks almost even, and that's because you remember we increased on the bottom edge. So now I can work, I'm out far enough that I will be able to connect these and have it come down level with the edge of the bag. So I'm going to work even to the depth that I want. I'm going to take this row, my single crochet row, and I'm going to mark it. I don't need to mark both ends. I'm going to go down 7 rows from here and check my depth again. Then I'm going to come back up until I have a half double crochet just short of this. In other words, the half double crochet will end about right here. Then when I add my single crochet with a decrease row, it can connect to this. Okay? I'll have single crochet, half double, all the way down. Okay, so if I'm starting with a half double and I have even rows, which would be 14 if I went 7, I would end in a single crochet. So when I get to my last half double crochet before that single, I'm going to check and see if my bag's long enough. If I want a little bit longer, then I'll do that single, do another half double crochet and check it again. And at that point, the single will begin the row that's going to come on the back. And I'll be working up and decreasing from that point. So when you get to this point where it's wide enough, it's long enough, and you're ready to go straight, measure how deep you want your purse to go, estimate how many rows you're going to need, mark it, and count that many rows down from your mark. Test it again. Put a marker right there at the end when you get to the depth you want so you can count your rows back up. When you get back to the top, you want to end in a single, in the half double, and then we're going to do the single decrease. Okay? So I will see you when you get back up. Do your straight without decrease until you get back up to the other side on the same level. And I'll see you then. I've got my purse as deep as I want it now. I went down 6 rows, so it'll be 6 instead of 7. So this half double crochet will be the bottom, and I'll be coming 6 rows back up and ending with a half double, and then I'll be right back at my single crochet row right here where I'll decrease again. Just a short heads up, when you find the row that's going to be the bottom of your bag, mark it. That way you only have to count the rows from the bottom to the top. You don't have to count it all the way down and back up again. And it keeps you focused on where your bottom's at. Okay? Catch you later. I've gone from my increase to my center of my bag, from my center of my bag to the end where I'm going to start the decrease. And now I'm ready for the decrease row. And the decrease row is a single crochet row just like our last increase row was. Okay, so I'm going to go in here in the first one, go in here in the second one, and you notice I'm using both stitches because this is the edge, and I just decreased one on this end. This now becomes the last one. Good. From here across, we do the single crochet pattern coming towards me, like that. Make sure you don't skip any, and make sure you don't do any twice, thinking that you haven't done that one yet. My count was coming out wrong, and I knew that I was doing the ends correctly. I went back in and found out that on some of the darker portions of the yarn, I was doing the stitches wrong, either skipping or missing or doubling, because I can't see them as well. In one color yarn, I wouldn't have this trouble. But anyway, making sure that you've done your pattern all the way across with the one decrease on the end, and you can tell that this is where your last stitch is.